Hello, everybody. I am Olivier Maurel, the founder of Think and Think, and very pleased to host this session about deep ecology. Wow, here we are. Change now. And there is so many things to change. Actually, when we are looking at the world, there is many facts and figures who invite us to change the way we live. The 2 Celsius degree of climate change, the 40% of the maritime and oceanic species who collapsed these previous 40 years, the overshoot days. Actually, every day I can discover new figures who invite me to push the way we want to live in this world. But actually, our relationship to the world is not just about facts and figures. It's not just about quantitative aspect of the world. It's also about embracing qualitative interdependency with the other members of our large community of living. On this perspective, 50, 40 years ago, Arne Næss, the Norwegian philosopher, coined the expression deep ecology. It was for him and for the movement of deep ecology the invitation to move from a vision of the world of collection of objects to a communion of subjects. How I can find my role, find my place, not just considering the rest of the world as objects, but really to honor and to be also in responsibility with the communion of subjects, which is constituting all the biosphere. During this session, we will explore what is deep ecology through a spiral, a deep ecology spiral, inviting us to start first by experience. My body, my feeling, my brain, my heart, all who I am went to this world to experience something. And there is something really concrete and fundamental which starts by an experience. And I will be very pleased to introduce our speaker in a few minutes to dig into what were their deep experience of connection to the world and invite them to engage to the world. We will move from deep experience to deep questioning. Actually, from this experience, I have the invitation to question the world, to find what is the disorder I want to answer. And from this deep question, move to deep engagement. Here is a spiral, deep experience from deep questioning, from deep engagement. And for this last part, I will be very pleased also to connect to eco centers where everyone on Earth, we have community, living and anchoring community who are pushing our standard of living in order to live in harmony with the world. But before to go there, I will be very pleased to welcome Patricia Shaw, Rachel Liu, and Jean-Pierre Goux. Thank you very much, Patricia, Rachel, and Jean-Pierre to be with us for this meeting. We will discover who you are and from where you come from. Rachel, Patricia, could you start sharing a little about you by an experience? What could be one of the deep experience you live in interconnection with nature and which foster your engagement? Maybe you can start, Patricia, from Schumacher Society, and we will move to Schumacher Society in the second question. Welcome, Patricia.
Okay. Well, I'm living in a very beautiful part of France, close to the river Lot, just on the edge of Aveyron and the Lot. And I suppose I was thinking about deep experiences and how often we think of them as experiences that we have because we go far away deep into nature, into places where it's often difficult for many people to reach. And I wanted to talk about how these experiences can also arise in the most everyday circumstances. And just a few days ago, I was walking with Tiziane Hatton and some other women in this village. And we were walking through the little narrow lanes and the banks around us, which are normally cut by the employees of the commune to keep it tidy. And these areas are considered nothing, wasteland, a nuisance. We have to cut them. But walking with Tiziane, she suddenly stopped just by the side of a lane which had not been cut. And she said, "Look, here is a feast." And very gently, because she has very fine perceptions, I watched her fingers delving down among the nettles and the dandelions and that were growing there very delicately. And I suddenly had the sense as though these leaves and plants recognized the gentleness of her touch, like they were tickling each other. And she pressed a few leaves so that the scent of wild thyme and wild mint just filled the air. And she began to say, "Oh, this we can use in a salad, and this has the most wonderful taste when you cook it." And slowly she picked just a leaf here and a leaf there and filled a basket. And then we went home and she poured it into a bowl and sprinkled blue flowers over it. And it was the most beautiful salad I had ever eaten. And she said, "You see, we think there is nothing around us in the village. And in fact, nature gives us the most abundant possible feast right on our doorstep."
Thank you very much, Patricia. Thank you for this story and to honor also the work of Tiziane from Atelier Zatar. Thank you to remind us that deep experience can really come from everyday life. Rachel, welcome from Human Tempo. Could you share with us an experience, a deep experience of connection with nature you went through?
Sure. Thank you, Olivier. I wanted to talk about my experience on while I was trekking on the GR20. Maybe some of you have done it. It's in Corsica and it's quite a tough trek. So I was walking and I'd been walking for about 8 hours, and it started to rain and it was really a storm. So it was raining on us, and at first we put on our coats and tried to avoid the rain, but it was not possible because anyway, it was raining so hard and there were lightnings, and so we were walking and going like, oh my God, it's so annoying that it's raining. And the trek was intense. So at some point I just broke and I started to cry because my body was exhausted and it was raining so hard. And at this point, I felt that the rain was not an aggression anymore. Actually, I was crying too. So the rain and the tears were kind of merging together on me. And at that instant, I just took off my cap and accepted that it was raining on me and it was raining inside me, and that it was actually a beautiful experience because there was nothing sad about it. It was just me, an exhausted body, being part of this whole rainstorm. And yeah, it lasted for about, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. And for me, it was really a very deep connection to nature, feeling that I was part of this storm. So
Thank
that's
you,
what I wanted to
Rachel.
share.
Thank you to offer us also the fact that it's sometimes just a question of looking with new eyes what is happening, which open a new field of consciousness and of connection with nature. Jean-Pierre Goux from OneHome. Welcome, Jean-Pierre. Could you share with us an experience of connection for you? Jean-Pierre, maybe your mic is off.
Yeah, thank you, Olivier.
Thank you.
One of the deepest experience I had with nature was more than 20 years ago in the Arizona desert in the United States, in the Catalina Mountains near Tucson, in a place called Biosphere 2. So Biosphere 2 is a very visionary project that was imagined to create a replica of Biosphere 1, which is the Earth within a glass structure. And I was spending the night in the hotel in this place with my brother. And at night, I saw this human structure designed as a replica of the biosphere under the Milky Way, the stars, and the rocks. It's a very interesting area. It's Hopi territory, so the Indian Hopis. A lot of spirits come out from the rocks. And suddenly, by looking at the structure, listening to the rock, it was like the earth was talking to me. It was extremely strange. And this biosphere, actually, it was many years after the project. So the biosphere was dying because the project was finished and the ecosystem were dying inside. I was very shocked during the day. And by looking at this dying biosphere 2, it was a wake-up call to try to regenerate biosphere 1, So, and for me, this connection with the plant inside the glass house and the structure of the universe, I had a very strong call which changed my life over there. So.
Thank you, Jean-Pierre. We will go into your project in a few minutes, but it's good to see that even scientists and mathematicians, and maybe even more them, as you are, can also listen to a sacred message from the earth. And thank you also to be the author of Siècle Bleu, the novel where you have a particular connection in the plot with Biosphere 2. Thank you, Rachel, Patricia, and Jean-Pierre, to share what you felt as human being and not just as human doing or human planning. Still, you are also entrepreneurs. You carry on some projects. Could you share with us the place of the experience into Schumacher College, Schumacher Society, Human Tempo, and OneHome? What is the place of the experience in your project to lead social and ecological change? Patricia, would you like to start?
Well, I think we make it the central part of how to begin everything. So at Schumacher Society, I've been part of setting up an opportunity for people who are leading ecological innovatory projects around the world to support them and guide and accompany them in a peer environment for 3 years so that they can really inquire into what they're doing and craft something to communicate about their work that can influence people beyond and help other people. And we always say that the starting point is experience. So we start all inquiry with identifying, striking experience, and describing it carefully in detail. That is the beginning of every inquiry. And experience can mean being moved, being touched, being disturbed, being uneasy, being confused, being excited. That's the beginning. So that's where it is placed for us at the center of all research and inquiry.
Thank you very much, Patricia. We can also share with our friends that you come from Schumacher College, and Schumacher Society is one of the projects that you are carrying on. And if we want to connect with you, we can go in Lot, village de Balaguier Dot, where you are carrying on these initiatives. Would you like to add some elements about where you live, Patricia?
Well, one of the many projects around the world that was set up, I mean, many of the people involved with us were students at Schumacher College, and since they graduated, they've started projects all over the world. And the one near me is with two graduates of the college who have created a common land garden where they're experimenting with the hospitality of the land, encouraging people to learn to create wonderful communal feasts, activities, associations of potters and carpenters and permaculturists that is drawing people to a very small village where before nothing ecological was happening at all.
Thank you, Patricia. We will have also the pleasure to have a conversation with Satish Kumar, the founder of Schumacher College, on Saturday, 11 a.m. In 2 days. Rachel, what about human tempo and the place of the experience in your design?
Sure. So I host retreats for people going through burnout or other traumatic work experiences. And we do that in the middle of nature. And it's very important. I often say that nature is the best of the coaches here at Human Tempo. Because actually, when people go through burnout or any kind of chronic stress or high-level stress, what happens is that their vision is very narrow. When you are suffering from a lot of stress, you focus on your problems and your personal issues, and you are actually physically unable to see the broad picture. And it's very important for them, in order to get better, to broaden their mind and see, take a step back and see the world as it is, and not focus on their problems and seeing everything through through their problems, and thinking that the whole of humanity or the planet, everything is doomed and everything is black. I have a lot of people when on their first day of the retreat saying, well, I'm here because humanity sucks and the planet is, there is no hope, so what's the point? And so we help them actually build that, broaden their view and build their hopes again. And for that, nature and experience with nature is just the best solution, because we take them on hikes, and at first everybody's looking at their feet because they're so focused in their mind and in the way they look at the world on the very near, on their close circle. And I try to teach them to raise their eyes and look at the skyline, look at the trees, see the beauty around them. And beauty is everywhere in nature. We also try to see the beauty when there is for example, in the middle of a natural scenery, there is a factory. Well, it's there. So you have to accept it and see how it can blend in the scenery, and how it maybe you can appreciate the trees around it even better because you have this factory in the middle. So we teach them to accept the world as it is. And only the experience with nature can actually do that. Because I can tell them forever that they need to broaden their view and look at the big picture. But if they don't experience it, they will never do it. So that's what we do in our retreats, and it's proven to be very effective. And I'm currently in the middle of a retreat today, and it's day 4 today. So yesterday we watched the moon rise because it was the full moon, and everybody was crying looking at the full moon rising, and they were all saying that they'd never taken the time to see the full moon rise. It was magical.
Thank you to bring this magic to our audience, Rachel. Thank you. And within Human Tempo, you have designed particular session for people who have witnessed burnout, but you help also people just to take a step back and considering new possible change in their life. And I think that you are organizing a retreat which name is Oser Changer, early July, in order to help people just to carry on the way they want to live in this world.
Yes, that's right, Olivier. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. What about the experience in your project, Jean-Pierre?
Yeah, I think experience is the way we learn and the way we integrate. And you can speak, you can read, you can talk with people, if you don't experience the change, you don't reconfigure yourself. And in my case, and it all started from that call in Biosphere 2, I think many people have described that, for example, Ken Wilber, we are at a stage where we need to develop a new sense of belongingness, belong to the world or to belong to the cosmos, and to build a planetary identity. And I was looking for ways to, let's say, develop this planetary identity. There are many books about that, not necessarily known, a bit complex to read. If you read Ken Wilber, it looks okay, but it's very complex. And it's not after reading such a book that you develop this sense of belongingness. And I was trying to find a very simple experience where people will touch that sense of belonging to something bigger, and step by step to integrate it with emotions. So that's how we started the OneHome project. And we look for images of the Earth which are unique. They are taken from a satellite 1.5 million miles away from the Earth. It's the only satellite that takes picture of the whole Earth. We made animation on top of that, and we work with artists or philosophers to create experiences where people can connect to that. And compared to the moon, looking at the moon, it's something you can experience from Earth. But looking at the Earth, it's not something you can experience from Earth. You have to be in space. And basically, this experience is to let people feel something invisible, which we are sitting on. This planet, you never see it, but it's the biggest influence. It has more influence than the moon. We are on it. We are children. We are part of it. And yeah, we'll show in a few minutes. Satish Kumar made us the pleasure to write a beautiful text about our Mother Earth. And on this image, it takes a different perspective. And on our website, onehome.org, there are other videos just with music. And at the end of the year, we'll launch an experience where everybody will be able to declare their love to the Earth after they have made this experience, and will collect this love.
Thank you, Jean-Pierre, to bring love on stage. Rachel, Patricia, Jean-Pierre, when we are talking about experience, it's not just at ease experience. Deep experience invite us to acknowledge interdependency, and I can feel also anger, I can feel sad, I can feel guilty about the state of the world. You mentioned the fact that more and more people went to burnout those days, and actually our Earth is also burning. How do you see a link between the two? How do you embracing suffering in your approach of the world? Maybe we can listen to Rachel first, then Patricia, and then Jean-Pierre. We have 3-4 minutes together on this. Thank you.
Yeah, so very quickly, I would say that you're right, Olivier. Burnout is not only inside the people, but it's all around us. And it's the causes are really the same. It's the fact that we're trying to do as much as we can instead of doing the best we can. And so we mix up quantity with quality. And the people I have here are all trying to do as much work as they can in the minimum time possible, and end up working like I don't know, 14 hours a day, including weekends, and truly thinking that they're doing something for society, for their company, for their coworkers, and they end up miserable, feeling despair, and in the end realizing that maybe what they did was maybe not what they should have done. So I try to shift their perspective to how can you not do the most that you can, but how can you do the best that you can? And the best that you can is also the best for you, respecting yourself as a person. And we can also see the parallel with respecting our Earth, our planet. And just to come back on the idea of broadening your mind, for me, you cannot understand ecology if you don't have a broad vision. If you just look at yourself, I mean, I cannot look out the window and see birds and see trees and flowers and going like, oh, I mean, the system is still okay. I have food on my table. What's the issue? Everything's good. So you have to open up your focus and see the broad picture in order to understand, to accept the real state of the earth. And the first and courage is actually looking at things as they are and not as you would want them to be. So that's why I see the parallel very easily between broadening their personal minds and broadening our mind as a society to open to what is truly happening and being able to acknowledge it and start acting as a society together.
Thank
That's
you,
what I
Rachel.
want to share.
Thank you, Rachel, to remind us that acknowledgement can go hand in hand with courage. Patricia, what is your view on this?
I would say that, yes, like Rachel, I can see how people feel overwhelmed with the growing recognition of how much we need to respond to so many different things. But I feel that what we try to do is to stay in touch with, exactly as Rachel said, the way things are each step. So it seems to me that what we try to do with all of the people involved in attempting to make a difference is to ask them to follow step by step what opens as you make a response to something that matters, that you care about around you. And it's the willingness to keep taking the next step, even if you start with nothing more than why is this particular area closed off with a gate. We started, for example, just that. Why is it closed with a gate? Who would we need to speak to get this gate opened? And then once you find that person and speak with that person and explain what would be different if we could open this gate, then maybe the gate gets opened. And then it's the next step. If the gate gets opened, how are we then going to connect it to another field? Or what could we then do with access to this field? And that means that we need to involve another set of people. So our way of working is to say, follow the path, one step at a time. Don't try to leap to ambitious and enormous solutions, but have the dedication and the commitment to take each step with other people. And that way, we change things.
Thank you very much, Patricia and Rachel, to remind us that facing emergency, I can also take my time for right decision. It's not just a question of going into the hurry, but to calm down and to make a choice. Jean-Pierre, in this particular time of we have the choice, we will have and we will enjoy together a meditation energized by OneHome. Could you describe a little where you will make us travel?
So you will be 1.5 million kilometers away from the Earth, looking at our mother planet. You will listen Satish, that is describing, his feeling in front of Mother Earth, on the music from Agoria, who is a French electro producer who designed this music for the experience. And the idea is for you just to let you go look at the Earth, listen to Satish, and see what comes in your body.
Thank you very much, Jean-Pierre. All the content from OneHome is free and open on onehome.org. Thank you very much, Rachel from Human Tempo and Patricia Shaw from Schumacher Society. Let's go to Lagrange L1 point of view. Thank you. 5 minutes meditation.
Thank you, Olivier.
Thank you.
We will come back in a few seconds.
When I saw the NASA picture of the Earth, the magnificent blue marble, in December 1972, I fell in love with this iconic image instantly. And through this incredible image, I fell in love with the Earth herself. I realized that what I was looking at is a beautiful blue pearl in the cosmic ocean, a blue miracle in the cosmic mind. In that ecstatic moment, I said, "This is Gaia, my living goddess. This is Mother Earth, my beloved mother and the mother of all living beings. This is our home, our only home, the home of humans, animals, mountains, rivers, forests, oceans, and trillions of life forms. This is the self-sustaining, self-managing, and self-reliant living Earth. Mother Earth sustains herself and nurtures all her children with food, water, air, and warmth. She provides clothes, homes, energy, arts, crafts, and culture to all without any discrimination or judgment. Sometimes we humans take the benevolent Mother Earth for granted. Like the naughty children, we behave badly and act disrespectfully. We pollute the water, poison the soil, and contaminate the air. We waste energy and disregard the limits of Mother's capacities and threaten the life of our own mother. We create conflicts and wars in the name of religions, political systems, nationalism, or some other superficial and artificial boundaries. Mother Earth has worked hard over billions of years to evolve and create biodiversity, cultural diversity, and truth diversity. But we humans turn delightful diversities into dreadful divisions, and then fight over those divisions and kill each other. Through the image of beautiful blue marble, the Earth is reminding us that we should transcend these artificial and superficial divisions and protect and conserve this wonderful diversity of life, and at the same time celebrate the unity of life. After all, we are members of one Earth family. Mother Earth is certainly looking after us. Are we looking after our Mother Earth? Mother Earth loves us. Are we loving her in return? I am certainly in love with this magnificent blue marble. The Earth is the apple of my eye. I will do everything in my power to look after our Mother Earth.
Thank you to all the travelers, all the pilgrims, all the lovers who are doing their best in our life journey. Thank you very much, Jean-Pierre, and all the OneHome team to share with us this image. Thank you to Satish Kumar, who guided this meditation. You will meet Satish this Thursday at ChangeNOW, 11 a.m. For a session named Finding Your Purpose in Life. I would like also to say thank you to all the team of ChangeNOW, and in particular the technological team who help us to travel outer space and to welcome us back here on the ground field, les deux pieds sur terre. We will move from deep experience question, deep question through this guided meditation now to deep engagement. And we will discuss in a few minutes with entrepreneurs who decided to start eco-centers. I will be very pleased to welcome Maylis Guiraud from l'Arbre aux Étoiles, Marc de la Ménardière from la Kambrousse, and Antoine Leveque from Ferme de Brouage. But before let them enter into the place, and I say a little hello to the technical team to say them that our next guests are very welcome to enter into the room. I wanted to describe a little the place of eco centers already playing. In the previous sequence, we have seen the Earth from outer space. Let's go back on the field where with le bouchot, with l'Arbre aux Étoiles or la Kambrousse, community, living community are engaging themselves into this mission to better live on Earth. They are living community with a deep call to find new way to take care of myself, take care of my relationships, take care of the environment and all species, and take care of life globally. You can see on the screen nice pictures and important message from 15 eco-centers. If you go to vivrerelier.org, you can find other places. Actually, living community are taking all their energy to create new standards for living. We will explore this question about deep experience, deep question, leading to deep engagement by now with them. Thank you very much to all of them. Do we have, after a connection to outer space, a connection to la Kambrousse, l'Arbre aux Étoiles, and Ferme de Brouage? Are you there, my friend? Yes, you are there. Excellent. Thank you very much, Maylis, Marc, and Antoine. We just enjoyed a deep question with Satish asking us how we can connect with the Earth, our Mother Earth, la Pachamama. I would like to ask you how this echo makes sense for you. How you decided to start an eco-centers to answer this question to better life on Earth. Maybe we can start with you, Marc. We have seen you on the movie Enquête de Sens, who inspired a lot of us, and then Maylis and Antoine. Marc.
Yes, thank you. Hi, everyone. For me, the intention, I think, it lies like a long time ago. I used to spend some time in Bolivia with indigenous people. It was 2005, I think, and I really felt connected, and I really felt the sense of belonging and living in communities. Then I forgot, and I did my life and work like in a corporation and forget everything. And then I had a call, and I started traveling, and I met Satish. And when Satish told me that from all the problems of the world, like lies in our consciousness, and even global warming was just a symptom of a problem of a worldview and the relationship we had with nature. From that understanding, I realized that it was important to live differently and to be able to experiment another relationship with nature. So by traveling a lot and going into a lot of different other inspiring eco places, at some point, instead of telling people they should live differently, I decided to do it by myself and create this place. And the idea is really to experiment a different relationship with nature, with the animal, with our hands, and really questioning our worldview, this mechanistic and materialistic worldview. And I think the intention was for me to reclaim a sovereignty of my surrounding, about the way I eat, about my food, about the way I heat my house, and also to help people to experiment other way of being a human being and to live in this earth with dignity, respect, and humility for all this abundance that she can share with us.
Thank you, Marc. We will visit with you the Kambrousse in a few minutes, but let's go to Normandy and Maylis from L'Arbre aux Étoiles. How did you get this intention to start an ecoplace?
Yes. Hello, everybody. Well, I spent almost 20 years as a consultant in finance and IT, and it became obvious that I didn't want to contribute anymore to the myth of eternal growth. And well, my job just felt like an alienation, dealing with ever-rising complexity, whether technological, human, regulatory. So at that same moment, we had a number of encounters with our readings, conferences, the practice of yoga, which enabled us to have a wiser vision, an expanded vision of life. And at that point, I realized that life was too valuable to spoil it doing something you're not happy with. So it all started with some kind of inner urge for something else for myself and my family. So we left Paris. And we had the will to contribute to some kind of a better world and giving sense to our skills. And I think it's only after a few years that we really realized that this whole project was part of something bigger than us and that encompasses us. Today, we are really convinced that eco-centers are really a main part of the solution in the sense that they offer experiences of what the new world could be: more collaborative, more spiritual, more connected, more aware. And in my sense, they're not sanctuaries, they're really laboratories to experiment new habits and highly connected with the territory where they're rooted.
Thank you, Maylis. We will visit a little more L'Arbre aux Étoiles. You are running. Let's go to Ferme de Brouage. Antoine, what gave you the courage and the energy to launch you just 1 year ago?
Yes, exactly. A farm in Charente-Maritime, an organic farm where we produce fine vegetables and fruits for 80 families in the village. Well, you know, we always get the question like, what was the trigger? And I think, I'm sorry to disappoint you, Olivier, but I'm not sure there was a trigger. Or maybe there was too many triggers. At least it was a 10 years process. And I think that perhaps you don't need a trigger to change. And you don't need a trigger to get started something. And I don't think we should make up the story in hindsight and try to do a different storytelling. It's really what happened. My wife and I, we continuously evolved and we decided to launch this place almost like by serendipity somehow.
Actually, you came from the digital entrepreneur sphere and you are becoming a farmer. Could you describe some steps in your 10 years curve?
Well, there was this continuous 10 years where I was dissatisfied, a bit like Maylis described. And then it's like an abrupt change, in fact. Like you switch, you know, on 4th of October, I was still working at Dyson. And 3 weeks later, my wife and I saw this farm and decided, well, this house, and we decided to make a farm out of it. So there was no process in between. It's a long decade of hesitation and of continuous dissatisfaction. And then all of a sudden we we move here with the 5 kids and we create the farm.
Thank you. We'll dig into your project in a couple of minutes. Let's go to La Kambrousse. Marc, you launched after your movie Enquête de Sens with Nathanael. You met Mallory and you decided to launch together a particular place, La Kambrousse, near Niort. What people are living there and how it helped us to better live on Earth?
I think the main thing is when we welcome people is to help them to take off the mask and not the one from the COVID, but the one from like the conditioning, let's say. And from that, I think I do believe we have an inner GPS inside us, and all my journey with like wisdom tradition and spiritual tradition show me there is a couple of tools and there is a context that you can create it for human beings to flourish and to really be themselves. So ground them with the earth, with working in the garden and like growing food. I do believe something happens when you take care of the land. And then all these tools like that we have in contemplative tradition, like yoga, meditation, thinking, when you put all that together with people who are really like deep in search of truth, who they are and how they can contribute, when you mix all of this in a place where there is beauty and meaning, something emerges like quite rapidly. And having some rituals and having those conversations like from like deep inside after singing, meditating, working together, I believe we went in a different frequency and we talked about what's important. And from those conversations emerge like new projects, new aspiration. You reinforce your values, who you really are. And I do believe aligning people with core values and meaning help them then to find like the courage to do things they know they should do or they want to do, but sometimes society or conditioning make them think they're not capable of doing it. And I do believe right now there is an emergency for human beings to do what they feel they need to do in service of the earth and a more connected world with the earth and a meaningful activities, because there is, I believe, a destruction that's exponential, but the amount of solution and of change that is needed is also like there's a lot of possibilities. So just like remind them that there's a lot of things to do. We have a lot of creativity and courage and love, and putting all that together make incredible things. That's the way I've been like making this movie or making the places so people can see it works. So just giving them the tools, switch on the inner GPS, and then they go on their own and they do like very fertile and beautiful projects.
Thank you to open this field with La Kambrousse, which is a fantastic place to feel as an artist, to re-energize our creativity. And actually, you yourself become a new kind of creator, because you welcome quite recently a baby. You are a father now, Marc. That's right?
I did a couple of big initiation in my life with like wisdom tradition, but this one is the biggest one. All the former initiation, I think, was to prepare me to welcome life and try to see how I can let these kids like what life wants for him and just be like the one who's just like helping him to go through this. But I believe, yes, this is a very big step. And I think having a place is like having a baby. At some point with Mallory, we had the choice, having a baby or starting this place. And we felt like we couldn't do both well. So 5 years now, we have the La Kambrousse is growing up, and now we can take care of another baby, but it's 2 babies for now.
Thank you, Marc. What about your family and your big family? A lot of people are coming to L'Arbre aux Étoiles. What kind of experience, engagement do they live to better live on Earth, Maylis?
Yeah, for me, L'Arbre aux Étoiles is my 3rd baby, actually. I did the opposite way around. Coming at L'Arbre aux Étoiles, I think that the first thing that people experience is being connected to the living world. I think they activate sensitiveness to beauty and harmony with the different rains. So for instance, it starts with connecting with the natural rhythm, the rising sun, the sunset, the seasons, connecting with the animals, looking at the stars, admiring a rainbow. It all starts with this kind of small daily deep experience with nature. It's also connecting with the energy of water, enjoying tasteful vegetarian cooking. It's about giving time and space to time, connecting to the healing energy of the place. But then it's also the opportunity to connect with the community, because when people come here, basically they don't know the other people of the group, but still after 2 days, they have shared so many things. They have spent highly emotional moments, lots of mirror effects. And somehow they felt a strong sense of communion, which gives them more confidence in themselves and in humanity. So sometimes those retreats are like milestones that act as a change of direction in their life, whether professional or personal. They change the way they heal themselves, they speak to each other, the way they eat, etc. And finally, I would say that we see our place as a free evolution space, a little bit like when Baptiste Morisot in Raviver les braises du vivant speaks about free evolution forests. The idea is that everything happens kind of naturally in an organic way, in a co-evolution with the other rains and the humans.
Thank you, Maylis, and thanks also to Cyril, your husband, who is taking care of this place. And actually, it's not just about l'Arbre aux Étoiles. You started also a movement somehow with other eco-center keepers with a manifesto in order to better live on Earth. And each year, you are organizing a very nice festival to gather all of us. It will be early September this year. The topic is Sacré Jardin, with art in jardin. So you bring also art and beauty in your ecological pathway. Thank you very much, Maylis. Let's go to Ferme de Brouage. Antoine, what is happening? How life is happening in Ferme de Brouage?
Well, life is very hectic as the new season is starting, and the first guests are coming, and the feedback is extremely good from the guests. You know, we welcome guests. We have a capacity of welcoming 46 guests in 6 farm cottages, and the feedback is excellent. And well, they mostly come from the city, and you know, many of them, they see a zucchini plant for the first time ever. They learn that these plants have 2 flowers, and they understand why, and that you cannot get zucchini in January. They didn't know about that. Also, like, they have never harvested a beet, you know, themselves, and tasted a crude one either. So only new things, but very simple things. They actually thought a beet was dull, and they understand it's actually can taste good and even sugary. And they also finally get used to swim in the pond with frog, even though they thought it was a bit disgusting at first sight. So basically, they come to experiment simple things that matter to them, like even light, you know, just light, space, quietness in the cottage. And I think that's quite rewarding to see that simple things can be rejoicing and can be satisfying as a cool thing to do when you're coming over here. And also, like, for our family, you know, we have 5 kids here that we took from Paris and that we rooted here in this very small 600 souls village. Well, it's great because we live outside, which we didn't do before. And my iPhone says I've been walking 15,000 steps every day since I was here on average, 15,000 steps, something I had never done before. And also we do things with our own hands, like carpentry, of course, agriculture, mechanics, no more PowerPoint. So it's a big switch of life from sitting 12 hours behind a PC to doing all these manual and physical and concrete things. And I think we love it as much as our guests and the people from the village.
Actually, Marc, thank you, Antoine. Marc brought fun and smiling. Maylis brought beauty, and you are brought to the stage the power of simplicity. Between beauty and simplicity, I would like also to make an highlight on elegant simplicity. Comment j'ai appris la simplicity? The last book just released in French by Satish Kumar, who we will welcome on Saturday. Elegant Simplicity, Comment j'ai appris la simplicité, is a fantastic manual to go into deep ecology, the topic of our session. Actually, when I am listening to you, it really gives me the will, the spin, the energy to visit Eco Center. But I know that they are not final destination. When we are entering into the deep ecology spiral, deep experience, deep question, deep engagement is offering us new experience for new question. Could you share with us, Maylis, Antoine, and Marc, the question, the tension you are still living in your eco centers? Actually, life is about movement, and you are not arrived at the final destination. So, what make you move and keep moving? Thank you. Maybe Antoine can start on this.
Yeah. Well, I think one big, one big tension that we live here is generated from this change from the life we had before. In the life we had before, you could buy anything. You could buy anything with money. Money can buy time. Money can buy, problem-solving solutions. Money can buy anything. Here, we work with nature. So there is a lot of things that money can't buy. Weather is like it is. The trees grow at their own pace. And the pests, all the different problems we have with insects and all the kind of stuff on the plants, they do some daily harm on the plants. So these are things we have to live with, and it's rather new to us. It may sound surprising to you, but before in the life we had, you have a problem. You can pay. You can have it done by someone else. You can speed up the time. Instead of 1 week, it's going to be 2 days or 1 day. And here it's not like that. You have to be patient. You have to work hard, and you have some some constant disillusion, and that is something we're learning to live with.
Thank you, Antoine, to help us to go through uncertainty and mystery. What are your tension or question for the moment, Maylis, and then Marc?
Yeah, well, running an eco-center is a full-time job, that's for sure. Leaving not much time for oneself. The main drawback I would see is the workload, clearly, because there's a lot to do outside in the garden, but also administrative tasks and limited financial ease to enable us to hire some resources. But the way I see it, that financial constraint is in itself is creative, because it leads us to find other solutions and resort to the community that the Eco Center drags. There are so many people who are happy to give a hand in exchange of regenerating themselves, connecting with new people, or getting inspired. So it happens like that. Also, I think that this full dedication that requires running an eco center, where the professional and the personal are pretty much intertwined, it says something about the commitment that is expected from us in these days where there are so many important changes going on. And the commitment can just not be halfway, it has to be full. Another difficulty that sometimes arises in eco centers, at least from what I hear in the network of eco center Gardien, is the human governance, which is a tough subject. In L'Arbre aux Étoiles, we've chosen to keep it simple and small, and dealing with no employees as such, but more like service partners in an integrated ecosystem. And so far it has proven functional. So yeah, that's about it.
Thank you very much, Maylis. We have 1 minute more to speak about interconnection. Marc, the floor is yours.
For me, like the main challenge, I think what I had underestimated is like the amount of time and the dedication like an eco center and a place like this like takes. I do have, I think, 12 or 13 jobs between a plumber, electrician, a gardener, a farmer, like organizing all these sessions. So there's a lot of things to do, and I think as Antoine said, there is the rhythm of nature and the one of a baby and of nature are two agenda that have their own agenda. So you can't like put it on pause and do something else. So it's a lot of energy, and there is no more Saturday, or every day is Saturday, or I don't know how it is. But what's crazy is the taking care and making things like more beautiful, taking care of humans, taking care of the soil, taking care of myself also when I have time for practices, like brings back energy. So I believe all the energy I put in this place that I consider like a living being in a way is giving back. But every time I'm not aligned with this place, like this morning, because I don't sleep a lot, the animals, for example, the sheep this morning decided to go inside the garden and start eating my strawberries. And I believe this is because I didn't spend enough time with them because of the baby and other things. And I do believe I'm working with something alive, and this is an amazing experience, but it's a lot of time. So don't think you open up an eco center and then the place where you go in holidays will be holidays all year long. It's not like this at all, but it's worth it.
Thank you very much, Marc, and we will let you to take care of your sheep and other animals at La Kambrousse. Thank you very much, Marc from La Kambrousse, Antoine from Ferme du Brouage, and Maylis from l'Arbre aux Étoiles. I would like also to say thank you to l'Inattendu, Le Bouchot, Terre d'Accord. Nous avions aussi les Terres de Lettres en soutien. Let's go to vivrerelier.org and you will find a myriad of eco centers who are welcoming you to experience deep ecology. Thank you for this travel. We're starting with ChangeNOW, and let's discuss about deep ecology again this Saturday with Satish Kumar and Tom Rinpin from On Purpose and Schumacher College. Thank you very much. I am Olivier Maurel, fondateur de Think and Think. À très bientôt.